What it do? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Chicken Box. We're here broadcasting live from our homes. Isn't that wonderful how technology just has changed over the years? And, when you had to be together, now physically, there's no borders.
Nope.
The world
That's
has erased all of the borders for doing business. And I'm happy about it. If you're not from the Baltimore area, you might say, why in the world would you name something chicken box? What's a play on words? In Baltimore, on the DMV area, it means four nice wings fried up. I don't even eat them anymore, but when I think about them, they smell so good. Put a little bit of salt and pepper ketchup on it. You get those big potato wedges.
that's
Is it
right.
lunchtime somewhere? I'm getting hungry. But anyway, that's the chicken box. But here, uh, powered by the oldest black media company in the country, 132-year-old Afro News, is where we come to speak our truth. This is where you get to stand on your box and speak whatever it is that you want to speak. Now, the great part about it is we don't have to agree with each other. Isn't that wonderful? Man,
Absolutely.
you want to wear a brown shirt, I want to wear a black shirt. Great. I'm not mad at you because you didn't wear black. And then can we get along, people? Anyway, as we move forward, today we are talking about payment processing. Who talks about that? We just do it, right? We just tap and we just swipe and we used to be scared to be online and now we're just doing it. Jay Jackson, all the way from the digital space of Puerto Rico. Where are you? Is
Mexico.
that right?
Mexico.
Mexico. Puerto Rico sounds such better, right?
Mhm.
So cool. But yeah, how are you today?
I'm well. I'm doing very well. Yeah, this is sort of payment processing is a topic I think people kind of take for granted, right? Like you said, people are just like, oh, I don't want to put my credit card out there, and now everything is digital. So it'll be an interesting conversation to see how what's the
They
other
take
side
it
of that.
Yeah, they take it for granted till they say, well, excuse me, this card is not working. Do
Exactly.
you have another card? Back in the day, well, I'll wait till our guests. Let's introduce our guests and then we can get into the evolution of payment processing.
All right.
Jay, why don't you introduce our guests?
All right. Thank you for joining us, Terrina Taylor. She is the owner of the Payments Connoisseur, which is a quote superior alternative to generic one size fits all payment processors. Your all in one solution for businesses seeking a transparent, secure, and growth oriented payments partner that goes beyond just processing payments. Unlike PayPal, Stripe, and Square, we focus on building long term partnerships with our clients. We believe that all businesses must have a legitimate merchant account that truly fits their specific needs rather than a one size fits all solution. So, Terrina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
So,
all excited. Go
go
ahead,
for it.
Jay. No, no, no.
Um,
I said I'm just excited about the conversation. We don't talk about payment processing hardly ever. But go
yeah.
ahead. Let's go.
So, okay. So the payments connoisseur, how does that differ? I mean, I just read your bio, but I don't think that kind of does it justice here. How does the payments connoisseur differ from something like a PayPal or Stripe or Square? Is it just because those are just sort of giant generic kind of processing? And like, how do you guys stand out? How does your company stand out?
Well, yeah, they are giants. They giants because that's what most people know. So most people don't know me, so that's why I got to get the people to know me.
That's right.
But we differentiate ourselves because what people don't realize is that those companies are not actual merchant accounts. So when you sign up with one of those, if you're a business owner, you want to accept payments, you sign up with those because they're the giants. They're the ones you are familiar with. But you're signing up as a sub merchant underneath of one master merchant account. So when you sign up with them, you're instantly approved. You don't have to go through an underwriting process. So the risk factor involved for you as a business owner goes up because you're not actually in charge of your own merchant account. Most people don't know that. And that's why I do want to bring that education, especially to our communities, because like I said, most people don't know that. So we, as a actual merchant account provider, we partner with a bank that's only a merchant bank. And so we make you go through an underwriting process up front, but that also gives us knowledge on what you're doing in your business, how much you're making, if you expect any influx in sales. So that risk of having a situation where your money is being held because the payment processor doesn't understand why you just had an influx in payments and sales, or they shutting down your merchant account because you violated their terms of service, that risk goes down for you as a business owner because we did the underwriting up front.
Okay. Okay, can you explain? I've used Stripe before for my business on the side. And so I guess my question is, what is underwriting? Because I think a lot of people don't really understand what that is. So what is underwriting, and how does that sort of secure your business so that you're not, like you said, you're just hiring one of these sub merchant accounts?
Okay, well, I can describe underwriting with this analogy. If you go to buy a house, you have to give them proof that you'll be able to make your payment, your mortgage payment, correct?
Right.
So what if you didn't do that and they just say, oh, hey, yeah, you can buy the house, and then you move in, put your stuff in. And then weeks later, after they look and see that you don't have a job and you can't pay, they come back and say, oh, we didn't know that you wasn't able to pay. You have to get out now.
Right.
So
Okay.
the underwriting process is a protection for you and the company to let you know that you'll have those funds available in case anything goes wrong. Make sure that they know all about your business, what you're selling, how you're selling it. That's just all the things that we have to have up front to know that you are who you say you are, you own the business. It avoids all that scam, because there's a lot of scams going around situations now. So that kind of gives you a protection as a business owner. And you actually have a merchant account ID number. So that is yours. You're in charge of your actual account. You get to see all the back end dashboards. And then you have control over like chargebacks and things like that as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think that kind of brings people up to speed. Yeah, I think everybody knows the term underwriting, but not so sure, like, what does that even mean exactly? But yeah, so basically like a background check when you buy a car, like in the same idea.
Basically, yeah, a verification. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that. In thinking about that, I had none of that when I started my Stripe account. They're like, yeah, sure, here you go, no
Yeah.
problem, and we'll lend you money.
So you never had a problem with Stripe though?
I did, but it was more of like their application is just not very good. But as far as like using it and everything else, it was fine, but I wasn't borrowing money from them. So I think that's where you start, and you're like, they're always like, oh, we'll give you 10%, we'll give you 20%. I'm like, relax, I'll stick with the 9 pennies I have. But I feel like that's where you get into that sort of dangerous situation where they're just lending you money against what you have or the idea of what you could potentially have, and then you don't have any underwriting. So thank you for explaining that. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
So we are on here talking about payment processing. If you just jumped into this conversation and said underwriting and what is all of this technical stuff happening, if you are a merchant, put it in the chat. Who are you using as a payment processor, right? Is that the technical terms, payment process, even throughout now everything that's being online? And that's either physically, right? Because you have a way to take payments physically and digitally. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, what's the major difference between, as they would call it, point of sale and your digital payments?
Okay,
Is it the
so
same?
a point of sale system is actually like a physical product. Like if you go into a brick and mortar store and they have actual equipment, like one of those with the receipt printer, and they got their screen and they can, that kind of thing with the little tap, that's pretty much a point of sale system. Now online, what you need, like if you just have like a website, you just trying to connect something to your website in order to accept a digital payment, you more than likely only need a payment gateway. So the gateway is a connection from your website to the payment processing provider, and that just allows you to be able to accept payments.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we getting some knowledge today. I hope I'm saying your name right. Suba just said I have a business, and this really interests me. Hey, thank you for tuning in. If you have a business, people, or know someone that has a business, share this information. We have Terrina Taylor, the founder of Payments Connoisseur. So just tell us, like, what made you start a payment? Are you a payment processing business, or tell me what your official title of business sector is?
Well, I'm a sub ISO, so I'm an independent sales organization. So all of the services that I sell is in partnership with other companies. So I have a partnership with payment gateways. The two payment gateways that we do sell is NMI and Authorize.net. And they're your payment gateways that connect from your website. They usually you have usually an API key that connects into any kind of point of sale system. I mean, I'm not point of sale, but like a content management system or your WordPress website, that type of situation. If you just need a gateway to connect for online payments only, that's usually what you're going to go for. But we also have partnerships with services like Swipe Simple, Deja Vu Pay Pro, and they're actually like terminals. So the actual little thing that people see when you swipe your card or you tap it, we got partnership with Clover. I know a lot of people are familiar with Clover. That's a big seller that we sell as well. So if you need an actual system where you need somebody to tap, dip, swipe, we sell that as well. So I have a pretty much direct partnership with all these companies. So if you do need this equipment, you'll be able to get it through me. And also the payment gateways.
Excellent. So, what's your background that got you interested in sort of taking on these other big corporations? Because I mean, I think the world is kind of shifting to like, how do we kind of do more local, connections with folks? So, did you like, do you have an like accounting background, or like what got you into this where you're like, somebody needs to be the sort of the middle person for this? Because it feels like that was absolutely needed.
Surprisingly, no. I got into this because I was curious. I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. Okay. My mom actually has a salon in West Baltimore. I grew up there. So I've been in the salon since literally since I was a baby. I grew up there. So I still do hair there. I still am a natural hairstylist. So right after Corona, when we were coming back from the pandemic and they were allowing people to come back into the salon and get their hair done,
right.
I was like, yeah, let me start doing some contactless payments, because most of the time we were just a cash business. So of course, the giants, what comes out when you look for payment processing online, Square is usually the little device. You hook it up to your phone, you swipe a card, or you can keep the card stored in your system. So some people wanted to keep their card stored in their system. They didn't want to have to swipe it or tap it every time they came.
Okay.
So I looked at my merchant statement and I seen that the people whose card stored in my system, the fees were higher than the person who swiped their card in person. So I just was like, why is that? So when I learned about it, I started digging, and you got to go into a rabbit hole. You go into a rabbit hole of research information. So it's a risk factor. So if a person has their card stored in your system, that means at any time you as the merchant can take their information and swipe their card, even if they didn't get a service. Right. So the risk involved is high, so the fees are higher. So if somebody actually swipes their card in person, that's called an in-person transaction. They know for a fact that somebody handed you their card and allowed you to swipe their card. So the risk factor is lower because the person actually handed you their card. So
okay, wait. That's wild. So if you store, like if you're at some business and they're like, hey, do you want to save your information on here? It's actually costs you more money to do that. And you should actually just do it each time.
You should, like if you're trying to save money as a business owner, have card person transactions, in-person transactions.
For the business, but
for the business owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not for the person swiping their card, but actually for the business owner. Yeah.
Okay. So there's no difference for the customer necessarily.
No, not for the customer.
Okay. But for a business owner, you actually you actually want the quote unquote less convenient way so that you're not paying all of these additional fees.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. That's fascinating.
It is. So it was fascinating to me too. When I learned that, I was like, wow, I need to learn more about this, because I know most people don't know, because I didn't know. So I'm like, I need to take this and teach people this. People need to know.
Right. Okay. Like now, see, now to me, this is moving the conversation from like, oh, this is interesting, like the payment system, to this is exactly why, as a community, Black folks have to have our hands in as much things as we can, right? Because you don't know. I mean, this is one of those things where you don't know a thing until you get to move the curtain back and actually see how these systems work. Yes. Right. And so Black businesses are potentially paying these larger fees and things like that, and actually just having money walk out on them because they don't have somebody with their interests in mind. So Yeah. Okay. All right.
And
Like
those fees,
I'm
those
in, but I'm all the
add
way
up.
in.
Those
Right.
fees really add up once you
Yeah.
start looking into how much, like right now, PayPal. I don't know if people. I mean, people. I know people use PayPal to accept payments, but I don't know if people are still using it to accept payments. From like the customers, but
Sure.
their rates right now, I think, are like 3.9%.
Okay.
That's that's a lot when you break it down to per each transaction. Um, and then I think Stripe right now as it's either like 2.7 to 2.9 plus like 20 cents or something like that. So once you really like break down how much it costs and then monthly and then yearly, it
Mhm.
really adds up.
Oh, my fees on Stripe were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely insane. So, okay. So one of our listeners here, Subba says, he's also from West Baltimore. But he says, why would I leave my online banking service for the payment connoisseur? I assume is what he means.
Okay, so most of my clients come to me because with Stripe personally, their terms of service has just changed. They just changed the terms of service, I think, last summer. So a lot of like if you were in like the coaching consultant industry and you take payments online,
Mhm.
a lot of people got shut down. So people were scrambling to look for another alternative to Stripe. And I still have that to this day. Like a lot of my clients come to me looking for alternative because number one, Stripe, the fees are higher. The customer service is very poor. When you try to talk to somebody about something, you going to get an email back and forth, or they're going to tell you to go online and look at their FAQs.
Mhm.
It's really no way to talk to a real person, especially a local person who can pretty much help you. So those really the two main things that stand out the most is lower fees and better customer support. But it's a peace of mind too because the security involved. I know it wasn't Stripe, but it was Square. I don't know if that was last year or year before last, but they had a situation where it was like a blackout, like everything shut down and people were scared and people was like, oh my goodness, what. So it's always like just to have that peace of mind to know you have a backup situation. So I wouldn't, if you don't want to leave your system, that's fine, but you should definitely have an alternative solution just in case that happens to something wrong, something goes down, somebody want to hold your money because people have situations like that as well. PayPal has had many complaints of people holding their account funds for 30 to 60 days because they seen an indiscrepancy in something that they felt was against their terms of service.
Can you just, and then I'll kick it over to my co-host here. Like, can you talk about like what's the term of service that changed with Stripe that forced a bunch of people your way that you saw? I'm just
Well,
curious.
it really depends on the individuals, what they selling. Because of a lot of scams going on and a lot of people being fraudulent online, especially with coaching services. I don't know if you know, like if somebody signs up, I've recently seen someone that I follow online where they sell like online services, coaching programs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
People will come through your service, like your content management system. They'll try to learn everything they can and then dispute the charge with their credit card company, talk about, oh, you didn't provide the service that I
see.
signed up for. They'll do stuff like, because people scam is out there. That's what they do.
Yeah,
So in
sure.
situations like that, those companies are always geared towards the customer and not the actual merchant. So they always on their side. So that's just a protection that you have going with somebody through me because we're actually the merchant services people. We're for the small businesses. That's what we're about. So we're going to dispute, like if you see something like that going on, we're going to try to mitigate that as much as possible because we small business owners too. And we know that people are out there being fraudulent.
Okay. Yeah, that I hadn't realized that, but that makes a lot of sense. Trying to get
Mhm.
something for nothing.
Yeah. And there's so many situations like that where people will sign up and say that they didn't get the value that they were expecting or it wasn't what they were, hoping to get. But people don't want to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. I'll kick it over to you, sir.
I think that's a common theme. If you just tuned in, we're talking about payment process, and we have this wonderful young lady from West Baltimore, Terrina Taylor. West Baltimore is in the building. I'm from West Baltimore as well. Um, who is talking and putting us down with game about this payment processing system and community. I mean, someone told me that mostly all of credit card transactions go through some place in Atlanta, right? It's a lot of these banking systems, and all these families own, those fees you're talking about. They're getting part of those fees from every single swipe of every single card. So I'm going to spin it to crypto, right? Crypto is very transparent because of the blockchain, which there was a big fight. Now it's not a fight. What's your feeling on how payment processing, because there's some places that you can pay with crypto.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the US, but in the world, I know it is in different places in the world. How do you see the next move of payment processing? Terrina?
It's difficult to really say because like we just mentioned, technology is moving so fast. I'm just saying, like when I was in high school, we barely had like social media. Social media was just coming up. And I got my first Nokia cell phone when I was in the 10th grade. So
it probably still works. Yeah.
I don't even have it no more, but I'm just saying technology moves so quickly. It's really hard to say what's going to happen with the next shift as far as blockchain, as far as crypto. I do know Bitcoin, when it first was kind of getting popular and jumping off, like people were skeptical, and then all of a sudden it was just going up drastically, like, oh, and then everybody was trying to jump in. But that's the thing about like investing and investments. You got to jump in on times where it's low and ain't that many people interested. So it's kind of hard to say, but I think that it's moving and of course an upward trajectory. So people should be interested in kind of early adopting some of those technologies, those new technologies, because I know specifically AI is moving so rapidly. It
Right.
could be going towards something with AI and blockchain or AI and crypto. So I don't know.
So
I don't know.
we got to keep learning, because I mean, you said you were curious. You were what do you call this? Hairstylist, or
Yeah.
what's your professional
Natural
term?
hairstylist, natural hair. Yeah,
Natural
lots of braids,
hairstylist,
twists.
right? And
Yeah.
you started taking payments, and you said, wait a minute, and you started researching, as all of us do, right? What's our favorite research? The internet now has so much information, we don't know how true it is, but I mean, this is kind of a science, right? With the processing. So you're saying that what your company does, with Stripe, PayPal, all of these are they
Merchants.
just market better. They're all sub merchants, right? And you
Yes.
said it's two. It's authorized.net. I'm just writing my notes down. And what was the other one you said?
NMI. That's the payment gateways.
The payment gateways. Are
Yes.
any of those black owned?
I don't think they are. No, I don't.
Probably not, right? But
Mm-mm.
the sub processors like yourself, there's some black owned companies.
Sub ISO. Yes. Sub ISO. Independent sales organization.
Independent sales organizations.
Yes.
All right, we getting the terms, y'all. ISO, if you see it, ISO, independent sales organization. So they all want people selling so they can get the swipes.
Yeah.
All right. He said I use Wave. Have we heard of Wave before?
I've heard of Wave. I'm not too familiar with it, but I have heard it. What's the fees like on Wave?
I was doing some research for a client, and most of them fall in between that 2.29 or 2.99 plus 30 cents. But I
Yeah.
don't know what Wave is. So you're saying if you use your business, how do your fees different from those?
Okay, so our fees we usually go with our Interchange Plus model. Now, Interchange is what all the credit card brands charge. So Visa, the MasterCard, the Discover, American Express. And everybody know American Express is higher. That's why a lot of people don't take it, because their fees are higher.
Right.
But they're usually around 1.5 to 1.6%. Now, despite anything that you hear online, people will say, well, you can do zero processing fees. That's totally false. You will always have to pay interchange fees, because Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express going to get their money. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So our plus is what our processor charge, the network processor that we work with, which is called Deposit. And the plus is usually the same, around like 1.2%. So altogether, you're going to be paying per swipe around 2.5% plus 10 cents per transaction.
Okay, so you're coming in significantly less
Yes.
overall than these other.
Yes.
So what is the Is it just because you're smaller, so you have a sort of a more maneuverability? Is that why you
Yes,
can
we're
you can come?
smaller. We work directly with a merchant bank, and so that's all we pretty much do. We only work with merchant banks. That's all we do. So we not like with big banks. We not with Bank of America, PNC, none of those big banks. We were smaller banks, Evolve and Trust. Some of the banks you probably never even heard of, and a lot of them are down in Florida. But those businesses, they work directly with merchants. So we know all the ins and out of fees and services that they're directly catered towards people that's selling something online or in person.
Okay. All right. And you've been doing
No,
this, I recall this is your third year doing this?
It's coming up on my fourth. I started in 2021. Yeah. That first year though that first year was just more of a learning curve. I was learning in 2021.
Sure.
I really didn't get started till like 2022.
All right. So, hey, okay. You're really on your coming up on your third year.
Yes.
But it sounds like you're making some incredible progress. Are you seeing sort of your base of clientele growing exponentially with like, especially with this sort of nonsense with these other major companies where people are just like, I need to actually be able to talk to somebody. I actually need to be able to put my hands on a person to like get support and things like that and have these things explained to you better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm where I want to be, because that would be a lie. But yeah, people are more interested in having alternative solutions than just putting their eggs in one basket, all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I think that that idea of sort of expanding out and having an ability to see somebody in your community doing this kind of work and stuff like that, I think that's really beneficial. I think we've long gotten away from that. That used to be very true in all aspects, but now it's just like you just go to Target, you just go to Walmart, like you just go to Stripe, you just go to the big things, because in a lot of ways they are more convenient, like they can be. But to your point earlier, sometimes the convenience is actually costing you more money, right?
Yeah.
And not
Convenience
finding
always
somebody else.
costs you more money. I know
Right.
people complaining about them DoorDash fees. Of course, DoorDash is convenient because it brings it straight to your door. But the fees, and then
There
the
you go.
fact that you might have somebody eating your fries on the way to your house.
you
Yeah,
shouldn't
see
have said
that
It takes away that peace
that's
of
gonna be a
mind.
whole nother show.
yeah, I feel like
That's gonna be a whole nother show.
I feel like you can charge me like 10% more to bring the food, but if I lose 10% of my fries, I think I'm
That's what I'm saying.
way more
That's what
upset
I'm
about the
saying.
fries than 2%.
Right. Well, I personally, I don't use DoorDash. I don't trust it. I'm not trustworthy like that.
I'm gonna come up with a digital food box that you can't open except with a code. So
That's not a bad idea.
That
Not a
sounds
bad
good.
Oh man, I might give somebody a
that's $1
$1
billion
million idea, but you
I'm
gotta
about to say
execute on
we
it.
should collaborate on that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, because nobody, like people touching their fries while they, why is my bag open? You know that person?
Mhm.
Yeah.
When your bag comes open and you really look. I mean, it has to be some regulations. I know we're getting off process, but we're not really getting off topic because we put our cards down on these places. Sometimes we store our cards and use it for every time we go for Uber Eats, DoorDash, or what have you. So, man, I got that. When you said that food, that made me lose my whole train of thought. If you just tuned in, we talk about payment processing. We have Terrina Taylor. Oh, I know what I was saying. Some small businesses, or a lot of businesses, use like QuickBooks, right?
Yeah.
And QuickBooks has their own payment processing system, but they also, because I use QuickBooks, they show places you can use other payment processors. Does your company integrate with these kind of platforms?
Yes, we definitely integrate with QuickBooks, and we have a company called Biller Genie that gives you value added services. So some of the things that QuickBooks doesn't do, Biller Genie does, and you can add it as like a service, an add-on to make things better inside of QuickBooks. And what's the fees on
Biller,
QuickBooks?
around the same that 299, 229 to 299 plus 30 cents.
Okay.
I mean, I guess y'all keep talking. I'm gonna pull up the fee chart so we can just see. Let's compare the payment processing fees while we talk. Man, listen, if you have your own business, put it in the thread. We'd love to shout you out. If if you've been kicked out of your old payment process, they write you a letter and then all of a sudden you're not on there anymore. Put it in the chat. It's disheartening. Suba said Waves is like QuickBooks, but it's free. Free.
Free is always a cost. Free is never free when you look into the back end stuff. It's never free.
Well, it could be free because they just want you to process through them.
Well, yeah, they want you to process through them, but this is what I'm saying. As far as the fees is concerned, they probably higher because it's free.
I guess how competitive is this processing market?
Very competitive. That's what I'm saying. Like once you were talking about how the people in Atlanta get a piece of every swipe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn that, is everybody want a piece? I want a piece.
Right. Why should we be excluded, pushed on the outside, as only being used?
How many swipes? Do they say how many swipes a day? The industry.
I think it's too many to. I'm pretty sure it would be in the billions, especially in in the nation of America. Like, oh my goodness, it's America only. That's just crazy. Like the swipes.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a small.
Yeah.
For all of y'all that the numbers are running through your brain, and you're like, man, maybe I need to get in the payment process. It sounds like though, since 2022, it's a relational business with your business.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely about building relationships. I've been trying to.
Oh no, I just wanted to. After you answered, I just want to know who are your current clients? Is it one particular sector or is it all over?
No. I have various clients that's doing more like on businesses. These are small to medium sized businesses. I haven't landed a huge one yet. I was trying to this year. I wanted to get into government contracting.
Okay.
But my company, they're not geared towards government contracting. They don't want to be involved with government contracts. So I'm trying to pivot into a way where I can get my foot in the door into the government contracting space.
Okay, fair enough. And you're, as a Black woman, there are avenues of pushing yourself up to the top.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really trying to get. I recently just went to a meeting last week about the Microsoft partnership program. I had joined to be a Microsoft partner. But anyway, just building like any type of like small piece of technology, like maybe a plugin or something that you could just sell to the government, some type of software, because they do a lot of software resellers. That's a really big thing in the government space. Once I was just, scrolling through some of the contracts that I possibly could get my feet wet in. Software reselling is a big one. So I think that's where I'm pivoting to.
Okay, fair enough.
Terrina, you were spot on. Let me get back to some numbers. Well, there are total global credit card transactions worth $724 billion. The average daily transaction is 1.98 billion. 82 million swipes per hour. 1.34 million swipes per minute. 22,000 per second. So in 1 minute, you have 1 million swipes. Even if they get 1 cent.
Yep.
What is that? Like
point.
$100,000?
Yeah.
That's the point.
Good God Almighty.
And you sitting at your house chilling or somewhere like grocery shopping or something, buying expensive eggs, and you getting paid.
Right. I mean, but that's the benefit. But this is the benefit of us like being involved in these things.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do, Black people. We're gonna find a Black bank. So even with the Black bank, right? We still need this other gate. We need these gateway people.
They're still going to have to resell you some type of something in between. Yeah.
So you can't get around these guys, huh? These guys are like they're like cemented into the.
That's how they make it. Like that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. I'm pretty sure not owned by Black people. But like I said, they still going to get their percentage as well. So I'm gonna have to look into our banks though, but because the banks we work with, I think one of them is actually Black owned. I'll have to do some research on that. But I think one of them is, not all of them, but one of them is.
Because if we could take all of our trillions of dollars as Black people and get our Black banks and figure out how to get our own payment gateway that process all of our own business and all of our own money. Anyway, my brain is going in a million ways. If you just tuned in, we're talking to Terrina Taylor, West Baltimore's own, who has she's the founder of the Payments Connoisseur. You can go right to her website and find out more about her. We salute you, one, because you decided to start something new. A lot of people talk about it, but you did it. And we as a community, if you needed some payment processing services, from what she even said, she's beating all of the other ones. Everybody out there is a sub processor. They might market a little better because they all have to go through those gateways. So you can do business directly with those gateways like she has decided to do and bring the service to our community. So just wanted to bring you up to speed with that if you jumped in the middle of the conversation. Jay?
So yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by this. I'm deeply fascinated that you were not in finance before and that you just got into this. I think that's dope. I think it's really important to understand that, like, pulling that curtain back for Black folks to be able to see where your money goes in this instance is powerful. Where do you see the Payments Connoisseur going in, let's say, 5 years? Like, where would you like it to go?
I would like to support more businesses in the community. I've been trying to get in touch with Charlene Nader for the Main Streets program, because I would like to be a resource partner for the Main Streets program. I got in touch with Jay Washu from Innovation Works. Just any organization within Baltimore City that is serving new entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, or Black-owned businesses. I'm trying to get into those spaces to serve more Black-owned businesses because I want them to have better payment processing. I want them to have their own merchant accounts. I want them to save money. And I want them to have somebody that is truly rooting for their businesses to succeed.
Right. Excellent.
Man, I'm rooting for you businesses to succeed, Terrina. You guys out there, listen. You're using merchant services every day. If you're a business, consider they're not paying you to come, you paying them to be there. So if it's the same, all we really care about, right, as business owners is that if our customers go to pay, that their payment goes through and that the service gets delivered that they paid for. Other than that, nobody knows. Just like a light switch, nobody knows how it works. I mean, unless you're an engineer or, you click it on and then you expect it to turn on. When we swipe our cards at these, point of sales or online, we expect it to work. So if you have a solution, people, I want to say, give Terrina a call. Give her, try her out. They're not paying you at these other places. If she delivers better for lower, and she just happens to be from West Baltimore and African American, then we need to support a small business because you know what we're doing with these big businesses. They on pause or on current delete. I hope y'all still doing it. I wrote about one of those. I'm not even gonna say their names because that's giving them marketing. One of these people that we say we were deleting. I'll tell you the color. It's red. But I hope you're still deleting them. Look for a small business.
Right.
Look for somebody else to do business with. And when you don't go in there, you don't miss it. I got some friends in the Caribbean and they don't even have those stores there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? So come on, you got to take some of the convenience, be inconvenient for a little while, so that we can shore up our own infrastructure. I'm now on the Boxx, Terrina. I didn't even know I was on the Boxx. The Boxx is when you step up there and you just start speaking. This is me speaking about how I feel about us as a people sticking together. The funny thing is we want to stick together a lot of times on a kumbaya, but then when it's time to pull out our cards, even though we'll give it to DoorDash and everybody else, it's like, So here's our plug. We're the
Mhm.
oldest media company. We hire young, talented, superb, educated people all over the world to come make sure that our news is recorded. You have a trusted voice. So go to afro.com. I'm not urging you on, I'm saying we need you. We need your $40 a year, which ain't, come on, we're not going to keep the lights on with $40 a year, but it helps us to get the digital subscriptions and get the word out so that we can continue to tell the story. They're saying everybody turn to black media. We've been here since 1892. Maybe you didn't discover us. That's why it's good to share this broadcast with somebody who doesn't know. Afro.com. It's out there. We need you. They can't control our airways. They can't tell us what to talk about. They can't stop us from pumping up Terrina Taylor's business.
That's right.
They can't do it anything. Well, the only thing they could do is say, hey, we're cutting you off Facebook. So that's why you got to go to afro.com, because we already helped them make billions of dollars. We got to help each other. So I'm off the box. Jay Jackson, you're now
All
on the
right.
box.
All right. So for me, again, I think Terrina, your business is really monumental when it comes to actually getting people the service that they need. In this case, these payments, which everybody uses, right? Whether you're a customer or you're a small business. But I think this idea of, oh, there's only Stripe and all these other big ones. Nobody thinks, of course, there's a small black business I can go to do this, right? And if they do sort of tangentially think that, they're like, well, they're not big enough. How are they going to be able to do? But they don't realize what it is that you do, which is you're sort of connecting them to these merchant banks, which is what you're not actually getting with these sort of bigger services or these bigger companies. Providing the same service better for less, and you're an actual human being, not a robot I have to press 3 to not actually talk to, right? So I think there seems to be a shift, and I hope that it continues, and I certainly support it, that sort of these independent companies and things like that, and these community-based companies are actually what the future should be. Yeah, we can collaborate and do things on bigger levels, but there does come a time where things are too big and too removed from the community, from people in and of themselves, that it ends up doing damage. So to those people that it's supposed to help. So I appreciate you and your company, the Payments Connoisseur. So I wish you all the luck in the world. I can't wait for you to see that I get to see that news report. It's like the Payment Connoisseur taking over, and it's in the top 5, right? So I do wish you all the luck in the world, but not just because you're black and I want to see you do well. That is a huge part of it, but that you're doing something that I think is actually going to help people who are not getting the help that they need, or may not even realize that they need. So I appreciate that. So it is your turn on the box. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm on your website. I just wanted to show everybody. It's a cool website too. Go to TerinaTaylor.com, guys, and find out some more information about processing your payments. Because she is a sub, like she said, she's a sub ISO. She is just like the rest of us. She is playing in the game. They are just marketing a little better. But if we talk, because word of mouth is the strongest form of advertising out there, if we share Terrina's business, she would definitely make sure that your payments work and they don't shut you down. Now, if you're doing something illegal, she can't help you. But other than that, she not gonna lose her license and be fooling with you. But if you're doing everything above board, she's your woman. So Terrina, you are now on the box. Final words about this whole payment processing system or business.
I just want people to be informed with their services that they are getting. Make sure that you know the fees that you're paying, because one person I told that they was paying a certain amount, and they was like, oh no, I'm not. And then once they researched it and looked behind the curtain, they said, oh, you was right. So just be aware of what you're paying. And I'm working towards a goal too. So I'm certified MBE, WBE in Baltimore City. I'm working on my one with the DOT. I just heard back from the lady yesterday, so I might be getting that soon. And I'm going to try to get my business in the airport. I'm trying to get into some airport concessions. I'm working on a lot of things. So if you ever need me to come through and teach a little class or talk to people about payment processing, or you have any questions about things like that, getting your certification, I'm here to help you. Just let me know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are our new payment processor and our new woman superstar. Okay, you on the rise.
And it's International Women's Month. Don't forget that.
That's what I'm saying. We need you.
Yeah.
You about that business. Fellas, the women are about that business. Y'all need to step up because the women, they ain't playing with us. They're not playing with us. But look here, Black people, we need to support each other. So check out Terrina Taylor. And like I always say, call a senior. They'd love to hear from you. All this technology, or go by and see them. When last time you went by and saw an auntie or grandma or uncle, anybody? They would die, believe, not literally, but I'm saying they would be so happy that you came by just to have a conversation. Slow down, people. Life is more than just a transaction, more than just a business deal, more than just a game, a school, or whatever else you're doing, a meeting that you need to stop by and check on your family. So we say that every week, but we really mean it. So we're gonna continue to highlight beautiful Black stories. And you are now officially in the Afro Archives, along with Jackie Robinson, along with all of the greats. I don't know why I said Jackie Robinson. Maybe it's baseball season or something coming up. But of all of the great entrepreneurs and women and historians, you will soon see. We just did a groundbreaking over in Upton, which is West Baltimore, which I'm sure you know, right off of Dolphin Street. Our archive headquarters and our Afro News headquarters will be available for the world to come in and see the beautiful archives of Black people that we've chronicled over the years. And now you're in it. You're officially in it. You're not on the newspaper, but you're in the digital file. And thank you for coming in.
Can I add one more thing to you?
You can add whatever you want. This is
just when you talk about seeing your old folks and going to see your aunties and stuff. I just want to advocate for people going in to check on the seniors for real though, because I specifically have an auntie who has MS. She's housebound, so I check on her once a week. I go to her house. She has the same password for all of her stuff that's important to her because that's the only thing she can remember. So you have to tell them that you have to change these passwords up and maybe write it down for them on a piece of paper or in a small little notebook so you'll have something, because she got her phone like scammed and I had to like reset her whole phone back to factory reset and just re-download all her apps and stuff because she clicked on something that she wasn't supposed to click on and it just got out of hand. So had to shut down credit cards and that kind of stuff. So definitely check on your elderly, your seniors.
Absolutely.
Because that's something that they do need.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Very good. Yeah. Especially with online payments, very specifically, right?
Yes. Having cards stored in systems, you definitely have to check on that every now and then. Check your statements, make sure ain't nobody taking a couple little cents, because that's how they test it out to see if they can take more from you. Check it out.
Right. All right.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get off with that, but that was a good word. You ever be so busy you're not really checking your bank statement, and somebody that you thought you canceled, they've been charging you for a year, $9.99 or something? You're like, what in the world? Let's check our money, y'all. I mean, I know y'all rich like that, but check your money. That $9.99s add up. You can't, they like you never stopped. That app you signed up for 5-day trial.
Cancel those subscriptions that you don't need, because there's a lot of them. Yes. Cancel that.
Absolutely. Cancel. We in the canceling mood, guys. So anyway, hey, until next time, everybody have a great day. Thank you, Terrina.
Thank you.
Please keep us informed as your business grows. We'd love to have you back. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.